Hello everybody. I wish I could be there in person to talk about this matter. Today you're going to see a presentation by the biology faculty in reference to the 5-credit anatomy and physiology. What I'd like to do is to give you a little quick history of how it became 5 credit hours and why. Back in the 70s, when a few of us were around, anatomy and physiology was actually 3 lecture hours and 2 lab hours. We had quite a hard time finishing the material. In fact, in the 70s, our attrition rate was close to 40 to 50%, mainly amongst nursing students, because at that time we had nursing. I think surgical technology came in towards the end of the 70s, and that was about it. So what we saw was students coming in that were ill prepared and having a hard time in anatomy and physiology. And obviously the numbers weren't high, and we were really concerned about the attrition rates. So what myself and a few of the other biology faculty did was to go to the nursing department and have a meeting and try to figure out what we can do to reduce attrition in anatomy and physiology. Now, another situation that we had was there were part-timers coming in that weren't accepted into nursing or any of the other allied health, and we found that they lacked the prerequisites. So they usually came into anatomy, and by the middle of the first semester they were gone. They were failing because, again, they were lacking the prerequisites. So when we met with the nurses, I had 2 suggestions. The first suggestion was to either increase the prerequisites in nursing, which they really weren't happy about, and the second one was to put a prerequisite on anatomy and physiology. Which would be college level biology or chemistry or something like that at that point in time. They were not happy with that also, because what it did is it added to the number of hours that the curriculum would require, and they felt it would negatively impact them. About this time, surgical tech started to add to our numbers, and we had the same problems with the students in surgical tech. We put our heads together, and we found what we thought was a good solution was to increase the number of lecture hours in the anatomy and physiology class from 3 to 4. This would allow us to go slower, review the introductory work, spend more time on some of the harder topics, and we found right away that our attrition rate did go down. And to this day, it stayed down because of the, I would say, slower paced anatomy and physiology. If this class goes from 4 to 3, the only way that we can possibly cover the material is to reduce material. When I first started teaching this course, the textbook was approximately 250 to 300 pages in length. Now it's close to 600. So there's been advanced topics, there's new curriculum. Each curriculum wants special topics covered in anatomy and physiology. Each curriculum wants us to spend more time on their pet anatomical areas, so it's not an easy task to cover all the material in the amount of time that we have. Again, even with the 4 credit hour lecture, many of the instructors have a hard time finishing the course. It would be virtually impossible to cover the material that we have right now in 3 lecture hours. Again, if we go to 3 lecture hours, if the administration requires us to go to 3 lecture hours, we're going to have to put a prerequisite on this course. And the prerequisite is going to either be college level biology, college level chemistry, possibly physical science. We haven't dealt with all of those things. Later on in the presentation, you're going to see statistics presented by Bethany Geisbergs and Yvonne Szymanski that's going to go over what's happening in the United States and what's happening in New York State. Again, I thank you for your time. I could talk probably for hours about this, but I hope that you'll find that what we have now is probably the best. The biology department feels that we should keep things as they are, and I'm going to ask you for your support. Take care, and I hope to see you very soon in the future.